Right. I'm Lopa Chakraborty. I'm assistant professor at Loyola Chicago. Um, I want to thank IISG for funding this project, and it is on valuing tourism sector benefits because of areas of concern cleanup. Thank you. A lot of money has gone in, and Biden is putting priority in terms of going ahead with cleaning up the rest of the areas of concern and delisting them. And it's also a natural experiment for a social scientist. I think it's a very interesting question. So I'm basically looking at the impact on these local economies following the cleanup efforts by the EPA. For example, did their income, did their employment, or did their expenditure that's flowing into the tourism sector, which is basically the arts, entertainment, and recreation, and accommodation and food services. So are these local economic variables being positively affected following areas of concern cleanup? The basic model is using aggregate data that's published by the Bureau of Economic Analysis, and following these counties over time from 2001 to 2021, and it's a natural experiment. What I want to compare is how these treatment counties where witnessed this cleanup efforts, and compare them to control counties, so the other Great Lakes coastal counties that did not get impacted by these cleanup efforts, and basically control a treatment experiment. The findings can be useful for a local cost benefit analysis. Basically, if you're thinking about doing post valuation studies, it is very time consuming to do surveys, and as we saw in Emma's presentation, that there is some evidence of other non-market benefits, such as increase in housing prices and gentrification of these areas. Next slide, please. So in my findings, I'm just going to report. It's a panel definitive analysis, and I find that total employment in these tourism-related sectors actually not that significantly affected. There, it goes up by only 2%. And for personal income and expenditures, so GDP in these local economies, though, they go up by 7% and 8% 8% and 7% respectively, and this is a statistically significant finding. The problem, let me give you guys some more context. The issue is that there are only eight areas of concern that were completely delisted. So what my strategy going into this was to focus on whether the beneficial use impairments in the various areas of concern, how they were being removed in sequentially, rather than going for only the delisted areas of concern. That would give me a very small sample size. So which is why you see how I report the income and the GDP changes following the first BUI removal activity. So that would be in 2006, and I had data pre and post of this cleanup. BUI removal can be used by local stakeholders for benefit cost analysis. And as the policy literature talks about community engagement as a next step for building resilient communities. And I think my findings can add to that initiative. Next slide, please. So this is just a visual of the treatment and control counties. I focused on only the coastal counties, and Michigan has the 13 areas of concern. New York has 6, and the other states have 1 or 3, 2 or 3 areas of concern. I just wanted to say there's like about 28 counties that are affected, and 30 areas of concern, and my control counties are about 55. So next slide, please. This is where most of it is preliminary results, but it's of a lot of interest, because every conference I've applied to have accepted to listen to my findings. And I just want to emphasize that in order to submit it to a journal, I want to make this comparison of treatment and control counties more polished. So a different diff requires parallel trends assumptions. So I just want to make sure that I can meet with all those requirements for the empirical specification. And of course, as Emma said, that BUIs, they are removed. There's certain areas of concern with more BUIs removed, so they're in some sense the water quality is worse compared to the others. So I want to exploit all the heterogeneity of that. And of course, I'll be hunting for data at a more disaggregated scale, like municipalities rather than more counties, in order to see if I get robustness in terms of the local economic effects.